Hello, welcome back to Book Talk. I'm Erin. Today we're discussing the third book in the Darkest Mind series, In the Afterlife by Alexandra Bracken. It was very, very good. It's part of a trilogy. I started reading the series a couple years ago. It's really good. I loved it a lot. In my opinion, I liked the first book better, and I liked this book second. I ranked Never Fade as third. Never Fade was okay, but I think I like this book better. But this will always be my favorite. It started off the series. The series was really good, and it came to a very good close in this book. It ended in a good way because it ended in a similar way how the series started. I don't want to give too much away for you guys, so that's all I'm going to say for now in terms of these books. So, if you haven't read the Darkest Mind series, you guys can check out my book talks. I have book talks for both books. I will leave a link in the bio for those if you want to check those out. If you haven't read the Darkest Mind series, I'm going to start spoiling the third book soon. Bye! Bye, people! Bye, people who haven't read the books! Bye! I'm going to give you a little bit of a synopsis before I go into spoilers. The book was very good. It wrapped up things in a really good way. If you guys read the book, you guys know what I'm talking about. And it had a lot of drama. It had a lot of feelings embedded into it. It had a lot of tension. It was more like a feeling kind of book than anything else. And it kind of focused more on relationships between different characters. And it still added the post-apocalyptic in here as well. It just gave me so many feels. It tore my heart when I finished the book, and I was in like a mini reading slump afterwards, and I could not move on from a book. And I'm going to start reading the novellas too, so maybe that'll give me some kind of closure on the series. I was kind of anticipating the ending. I just didn't want to read it because it's the last book in the series, but it was a very, very, very good book. And I wasn't sad, and I wasn't really too upset like when you finish a series and you're like depressed, but I was happy when it ended in a good way, that we knew we were wrapping everything up and we knew that it was going to end in a good way. And we lost some characters and we learned about some relationships and a lot of relationship stuff between Liam and Ruby. Liam and Ruby in this book just made me so happy. Things happened in this book that I'm glad that it happened because I was anticipating this certain moment. And I'm going to talk about this in the spoiler section, but it made me happy because it showed how much Liam and Ruby were closer. Read this book and come back and we'll discuss this book together. And by the way, the cover is really cool too. It's like a banana, but it's a joke in the book if you guys read it. Now I'm going to spoil the book for you. So bye people who haven't read the book. Bye. In the Afterlife, leaving off where the last book left off, and it kind of transitioned into In the Afterlife. What happened? Joe lost Jude, and they did the research. They did a very, very good way of starting off. It actually added a good suspense factor because it didn't really exactly take place right then and there, but it took place a couple weeks later, I think, after the book ended. But it was a very good book in the way it started, and they were in Los Angeles, and Liam is there, and the whole gang, and they're dealing with the whole explosion that happened at the end of the last book, after Jude died, and after all this happened, and all that crap. And then you see Liam and Ruby together, and that's just how the roller coaster of the feels kind of started. At points in this book were up, and then at points were down, and it was just some smooth ride. So we're going to get to that later. So they were in Los Angeles for a while. They went over to the ranch, and they decided to seek shelter there. And I'm imagining this ranch is something big, but it's hidden in a bar, which is, I guess, like camouflage, so you don't know they're there. And on the way there, I loved how they brought the road trip back in, and the car. I loved that. Every time they were either on the road, or when Ruby used her ability, was like my favorite parts of the book, and obviously the romance between Liam and Ruby as well. But I liked the road trip too, because in the first book, it had the road trip, and that's what made me fall in love with it the first time, and then obviously a second factor, Ruby's ability, but I can't pick which one I liked more, because those two aspects were really good in the book. But I liked them on the road, and especially because they had Cole and Clancy with them, and Clancy was like knocked out. I don't know why they didn't shoot him and he didn't die. I'm going to be honest here, I'm glad Clancy didn't die. And then when he got shot, I was in school, and I was like in the library, and it was quiet, so all I could say was, oh my god, to myself. I actually tweeted about it so I could get my feelings out, but I didn't spoil it. But it was shocking because his mom did it. I don't know. His mom's okay for me. I mean, she was an okay character. She didn't really bug me, But we didn't really see her in the second book. We see her in this book because in the last book she was in flashbacks, or whenever in Clancy's head she was there. But she's in this book and she was doing experiments on her son, and now we find out why the way he is. And he was a Nico getting those experiments done. It broke my heart because now we know why Clancy the way he is. I mean, I still hate Clancy, but we actually get a better idea of why he is the way he is. And she erased some memories and made him kind of a good person, but I would have liked to see him after she removed the memories, but there was really nothing more to that. Also, Vita and Chubbs, love those two. They made me so happy because they got together finally, and I was shipping it for a while. I was like, oh, these two. And I liked Vita because a lot in this book, because she and Zoo kind of developed a relationship because she was teaching Zoo. Zoo finally talked, and I was like, oh my god, she talked. And I was so happy because we knew she was probably going to talk anyway because it's the last book, so she had to talk sometime, and finally she got the courage to talk. And now I would have loved to hear Zoo talk more, because after she talked a lot during the interview, we didn't really see much of her, and then she talked a little bit towards the end of the last book. Now I don't know if she's maybe wasn't in the scene that much, or maybe she was trying to ease herself into talking more and more, but I would have liked to see more of a Ruby Zoo conversation towards the end of the book. The good conversation was when they were in the bed and she was laying with her, and she was trying to convince her about Liam, and she was writing her these notes, and I would have liked to see that more towards the end of the book too, because she would have given verbal advice rather than writing it down. But I like that talk because Zoo convinced Ruby to approach Liam, and Zoo was doing a good thing by helping her, and then she approached Liam in the stairwell and they were fighting. And I was hoping that Liam and Ruby were going to be okay. They had lack of communication because he wrote that note. And I don't know why she was so upset about the note. And she is like obsessing over this note when there's no problem at all with the note. It's just a note, Ruby. Like, a big deal. So you maybe don't have trust issues. But talk to him about it. Approach Liam about it. But she didn't. She just held it back, and that's what made her step back from him. And that's what ruined the intimate moment that I loved so much before the fact, and that kind of ruined it. She started distancing herself, and she started working more with Cole. I didn't see any romance between Cole and Ruby, because there's no love triangle, but they developed a friendship, best friends. And when Cole died, it tore me apart. I was so upset, but I knew somebody was going to die, and I'm thinking, now is it going to be Liam or Cole? And I'm reading the book, and who's going to die? And they said blonde hair, and honestly, Liam has blonde hair, and so does Cole, because they look alike. When Cole died, I was like, oh crap. But now, at least Liam's alive. Now, nothing against Cole dying, but Liam is alive, and now Ruby can be happy with him, and I'm happy that Ruby got that not happy ending that she wanted, but she got to be with her boyfriend and the guy that she loved so much. And I like that, because if it was either Cole or Liam dying, I can't pick because I love them both, but I'm leaning more towards Cole because at least Liam and Ruby can be together now, and it's just a shame that Cole got murdered. And then, can we talk about Cole and Liam's relationship? They were all at each other's throats, and he was kicking Liam around, and I just feel like they could have gotten along better. Cole should have lightened up on Liam and let him in and listened to his ideas. Cole was so arrogant towards Liam, and he didn't take his ideas. And then Liam found out about Cole's power, and then he even hated Cole even more. But he didn't. When they did start bonding a little bit and start trusting each other more, Cole died, and it wasn't enough chance for them to be a perfect brother. Because if you think of it, if Cole was alive and he didn't die at the end of the book, I was convinced. I said, Cole's not dead. This is stupid. And maybe he'll show up at the end and be like, I'm alive. But he didn't. And there's no more Cole after this. And it just made me upset that, and then the way Liam reacted to Cole's death was beautiful. But it was sad that he wanted to distance himself from Ruby and all the gang and said, I'm never coming back. That made me cry. And he shows up at the end at Thurmond. I loved when I went back to Thurmond. It was my favorite part. The series started with Thurmond, and then it ended in Thurmond. And I liked the fact that we were in Thurmond, and she was trying to get the kids free from the camps, and then they did the hit, which is when Cole died. They took Ruby to Thurmond, and she made the PSF piss his pants, and they brought Sam back in, and they brought all these girls back in, and all these people that she used to bond with, and they were all together, and she brought Sam's memories back, so now she could trust her, and I like that friendship. I would like to see a lot more of Sam and Ruby towards the end of the book. We saw Sam again. Sam was one of my other favorite characters, and she was a minor character, but she was one of my favorites in the book, and I liked that a lot. It was cute. I loved it when she went back to Thurmond. And the camp aspect was another favorite part of mine. It was terrible what happened to Ruby with the whole camp hit. I like how she went undercover as a camper, and then she completely blew everybody's minds by just taking control of that PSF woman and tying her to the fence and getting in there and putting the flash drive in. Oh, and I gotta discuss my favorite part. Liam and Ruby made love, and I love that part because she learned how to trust him. And it was less about the sex and more about the love part of it. And I loved how they made love the first time. Everybody was getting together. Chubbs and Vita, and then Liam and Ruby were back together by the end of the book. I see them get together and intimate, and they did, because they were intimate in the beginning of the book where they were together, and in the middle of the book they were broken up, but then towards the end they got lovey-dovey again, and it made me happy. The interview made me cry because, again, Zoo with the talking. Alice kind of bugged me when she was with Liam. She was just there, because he went behind Ruby and Cole's back, which kind of pissed me off, but he was just trying to help. And every time Liam went darling, oh, that southern accent. And then I loved it when Cole called her Gem because it was so cute, but he wasn't really flirting. Oh, we have to know about the Ruby sleepwalking. I didn't get a reason behind this, but then we find out that Clancy was behind it, and he was controlling her mind. And when I found out it was Clancy, I was pissed off. That had it up to here with Clancy. In the first book, I liked him. He was here. And then the second book, he was here because he almost killed Vita and everything and controlled Ruby. And then now I have him up to here because he pissed me off because he controlled Ruby the whole time. Oh, I hated that. He's an ass, but towards the end he became better because she took his memories. Now I think he should have died. They all evacuated the tent, and then Clancy got shot, and then she was trying to help him, and then the PSFs took her away. I don't know if they was evacuating and that was meant to happen, that she had to get picked up by the PSFs, why the Thermont hit happened and how they planned everything. Probably would have been better planned if Cole was alive, but it was very well put together because Ruby became a leader. She took the duties that Cole was supposed to have, and she became stronger. She became a leader, and I liked that about her. She changed a lot from the first book, and she becomes so innocent as she was in the first book and didn't know what was going on. Whereas in the third book, she became a lot stronger. You see the Liam's and Cole's dad. I loved him a lot. And he's just as charming as his son. He's adorable. I love how he brought Kate back. Because first book, Kate kind of came off to me as an antagonist, kind of evil kind of woman, because helping Ruby, but then she didn't want to go to the Children's League, but she wouldn't stop until she was in the league. And then towards the second book, Ruby is in the league, and she develops a good relationship with Kate and Vita. And the last book, we don't see much of her, but by the time we fall in love with her, she's back. By the time we see Kate, she's gone, and she's being taken by these PSFs. One of the moments that she was in the book, I liked Kate a lot, and she was a great character to read, along with the other characters we got, and the way the story wrapped up, Thurmond, and then the ending with getting in the van, the press conference with the operation, and the way Chubb spoke about it, having this relationship with her parents, and I'm happy. And then her grand showed up, and her grandma knows what happened, but her grandma didn't have that problem because she didn't have that memories taken from her. And I was just happy because she had that relationship with her grandmother. And then her parents came back in, and she's going to go home with her parents. Liam's going to go home with his parents, and they're going to hopefully talk again and become a couple. And I hope we see some stuff beyond that. Because, well, I mean, we're not going to see it, but I hope that this does happen and what I imagine would happen beyond the Darkest Mind series. Which leads me to the ending. The ending of the book was great because we started off the van left the press conference, and they went into this Black Betty, the first book, and they just drove off, and it started off with Thurmond, and then it ended with Thurmond, and then it started with the van, and then it ended when they were all in the van together, when they came back together. They drove off together, and it was a perfect ending that we really wanted. It kind of still coming as I finished reading the book. It was a very good ending, and I was very happy that the series came to a really good close. Alexandra Bracken wrapped up the books so well. She has phenomenal writing. I cannot wait to read Passenger. I'm very excited. She's one of my favorite authors, and she's so talented and a great writer, and I look to her as an author myself, and I love the way she wrote, and I love the way she created this world, and going through this with Ruby and Chubbs and Liam and Sue and the gang, and even Vita and Kate, and these new characters, and Nico and Jude, and everybody. Yes, we lost some characters, but The Darkest Minds was one of my favorite book series by far, and very happy about the way the series ended. That was my video. I hope you guys liked it. I know it's been a while since I filmed videos. I've been busy with school, but now that school's over and the summer's starting, I'll be filming a lot more videos for you guys. Expect a lot more videos coming, and I hope to see you guys soon. So if you're not following my social media, my Twitter is @LettyFan93 and my Instagram is @DivergentFan93. So follow, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!